All right, let's get right into it. So you've identified as an ISTJ. You might know it as the logistician or the inspector. Basically, you're someone who is grounded in reality, driven by duty, and you trust cold, hard facts over wild speculation. This explainer is all about you. We're going to use insights from McGilbourne's Be Your Own Boss on the Bitcoin Standard to figure out what your path in the Bitcoin world could really look like. Now, I'm going to guess what you're probably thinking. You look at the Bitcoin space and see, well, chaos. It seems speculative, unpredictable, and maybe just a little too disorganized for your taste. So the big question is, right? How on earth does a personality built on logic and order find a place in all of that?
Let's tackle that feeling head on. We're going to call it the inspector's dilemma. It's this fundamental clash between your core nature and the public face of Bitcoin.
When you look out there, it is completely understandable that what you see is a bunch of hype, a ton of risk, and a real lack of structure. I mean, your mind is literally wired to build reliable systems. And let's be honest, that's not exactly what's screaming from the crypto headlines every day. But here's where we make a sharp turn. What if that critical eye of yours, that deep-seated need for order and proof, isn't a handicap here? What if it's actually your secret weapon? And that brings us to the core idea of this whole thing. Your personality isn't just a fit for Bitcoin, it's an unfair advantage. It's basically a superpower in a world that is desperate for it. You know, the popular image is that Bitcoin is for the big dreaming visionaries and the disruptive tech rebels. And hey, this space absolutely needs those people, but they're only part of the story. You can't run a global financial network on vision alone. Which leads to the most important point. It needs inspectors. It needs you. It needs people who can look right past all the hype and ask the tough, practical questions. You know, like, how do we make this thing safe? How do we make it reliable? How do we make it scale for millions of people? There's a quote from the source material that just hits the nail on the head. You bring structure to a space that can sometimes mistake chaos for freedom. That's your value. You're the force that takes all that raw, chaotic energy and shapes it into something stable and trustworthy. And this is really the heart of it. For Bitcoin to actually grow up, to go from this niche asset to something that big companies and institutions can actually rely on, it needs your kind of rigor. You're the one who builds the bridges of trust that allow the mainstream to come on in. Okay, so what does this actually look like day to day? Let's talk about some real, concrete career paths. Now, these might not be the jobs that get all the likes on social media, but believe me, they are absolutely indispensable. Your sweet spot is where the rules get written and the foundations get built. We're talking about things like tax consulting and accounting for this brand new asset class. We're talking about auditing and meticulous record keeping, or being a compliance advisor for businesses trying to do things the right way. Even security education, teaching people the step-by-step processes to actually keep their Bitcoin safe. And don't ever think of these as boring back office jobs. That's completely missing the point. You're not in the back office. You're the architects of trust. Every other, more exciting part of the Bitcoin economy gets built right on top of the solid foundation that you create. Without that foundation, the whole thing is just a house of cards. And here is the bottom line for your career. The demand for your specific, methodical way of thinking is about to collide with a very, very limited supply. As the network grows, your value doesn't just grow with it, it shoots past it. This is where you build a real, long-term, sustainable career. Okay. So where do you start? Let's walk through a practical plan. This isn't about just jumping in and hoping for the best. It's a structured approach that should really appeal to your inner ISTJ. It's a 4-week sprint. Week 1 is all about you, really rigorous self-knowledge. Week 2 is about looking at the market and finding that one gap that only you can fill. Week 3, you just dive deep. Go down the rabbit hole on that one specific area that fascinates you. Then week 4, you build something, anything. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to build the first real thing. And remember, the point of this 30-day plan is not to have a fully formed business at the end. The real goal is momentum. It's about getting the ball rolling so hard and so fast that it becomes a force of nature all on its own. So, as we wrap things up here, let's bring it all back home, back to your unique journey. I want you to take a second and really think about this. Look back at that list of roles. Auditing, compliance, security, accounting. Which one of those actually connects with your personal history, with the skills and experiences you've already spent a lifetime building? Because at the end of the day, your path into Bitcoin isn't about trying to become someone you're not.
It's about finally discovering that the person you've always been, the inspector, the logistician, the builder of solid systems, is exactly who this network has been waiting for all along. If this structured way of thinking resonates with you and you want to explore the entire framework, the complete guide is in the book, Be Your Own Boss on the Bitcoin Standard. You can find it at 2140chronicles.com. So don't ever mistake your need for order as a barrier. It's not. It's your greatest asset. It's time to unlock your entrepreneurial path today.